Hey guys, it's Mother's Day. So today I thought I would do a post about healing my relationship with my mother, which hasn't always been perfect, but I learned a few things. So here are 5 things I learned in healing my relationship with my mother. I have a great relationship with my mother now, and she's someone I call for emotional support and vice versa. And she really is a great lady with an amazing will and strength, but our relationship hasn't always been so perfect. In Korea, she raised me as a single mother in the back room of a video store that she ran. And she was in her early 30s, younger than I am now, so understandably she was under tremendous amounts of stress and pressure. Christianity was something that she held on to as something that brought her some comfort and safety. But unfortunately, the kind of Christianity that was available to her at the time was very divisive and judgmental, especially against gay people, which turns out I'm gay. So it was a big problem. So for many years after I came out to her, this was back in 2006, our relationship was really fractured. And during that fracture, we were forced to face a lot of unhealed wounds. So this Mother's Day, I want to talk to her about our amazing journey to healing and building the amazing relationship that I have with this woman that I call my mother. She's really terrific. And so here are 5 things that I learned that really helped me to rebuild my relationship with her. Number 5, she really did do the best that she could. My mother was a single mother in Korea during a time in which it was very judgmental against single mothers. My father had a whole other family on the other side of the country and basically told her that he was taking business trips. And she found out that his business trips were actually visits to his other family. And she found this out while she was pregnant. And this was after she had a wedding date. Obviously, this was very traumatic for her, but despite this, due to family pressure and Korean culture, she tried to make it work with him, even with the knowledge of his having another family and this huge betrayal to her. So when she decided to cut him off when I was 4 years old, this was 1989, the year that Taylor Swift was born. And so there was no internet. There was no parenting guides. There was no support for her in raising this little boy. There were no instruction manuals. I don't even think Dr. Ruth was around. Dr. Ruth is the sex one. Anyway, whatever. But there was a place at the time where she could find some support. The church. So it's understandable that she really adopted those values that were advocated by the church. When there was no other resources, she could find some comfort, a community, and acceptance even with her single motherhood. The church people really were supportive. She essentially was rescued by the church and the members of the church as a single mother. And I remember these people when I was 4, 5, 6, 7. They really were like family to me. They did treat me really well. Koreans have a warmth about them. They really do. Once they decide that you're in their tribe, you can do absolutely no wrong. And that's what being in the church was like for me and my mom when I was 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can't really blame her for lining up with the church and their values. Whether or not it was right or wrong apart, I can see how someone could do that. And yes, she had some meltdowns also during this time. She wasn't a perfect mom. She practiced some corporal punishment, not extreme. I was hit with a broomstick, just what you did back then in Korea. In Korea, the teachers hit us. Teachers actually do hit you for talking, for not doing well on tests. They smack you around. So actually, there are things that I could be angry with her about, such as corporal punishment, or making me feel responsible as a 6-year-old when I didn't know better, her religion, but she was doing her best in a really tough situation, and no one should be expected to be perfect. It's a lot of pressure, so understanding that helps me connect with her, understanding that she really did her best in her tough situation. Number 4 is that I was not perfect with her either. As a teenager, I fought a lot with my mom, and I would berate her for not being stronger. In my teen years, I had this kind of like bulldoze your way through life kind of attitude and make it work before Project Runway was a thing. But when I would see my mother being emotional about some situation, I would totally berate her and say things like, "Get it together, mom. No one cares about your emotions." Which is a really harsh thing to say, but that is the way I looked at life. And I think about this and I feel really, really bad. I wish I would have known a better way to communicate with her rather than to hurt my mother with these words, despite my good intentions. But just like her, I really was doing the best that I could with what I knew. I didn't know how to handle it, and I don't know what I know now. But this was back in 2002. It was before dial-up internet, before cancel culture. I had modem internet. You've got mail, right? So I didn't know how to behave properly. I knew less than I know now, certainly. And, you don't know what you don't know. So just like I have to forgive her, I have to forgive myself and give myself some grace. And this is especially important because here is what can happen. If I am not aware and I have some guilt or shame about how I've treated my mom, guess what? Now, seeing her is going to trigger those negative feelings. And now I have my mother associated with negative feelings. So I may distance myself from her because I don't want to feel bad, which is just the opposite of what I want. So it's best to give grace to her and myself if I want to foster a good relationship with her. Number 3, it's about understanding her. I don't really like the concept of show love anyway when someone's being difficult, even if you're different people. To show love anyway implies there's something wrong with her. Here's what I learned that really brought us together. It's not about loving her anyway, it's more about understanding her. In my observation, she's someone who values comfort and kindness and not making anyone feel bad, which is wonderful in some ways, but she also has a hard time saying things directly. I, on the other hand, am a bull in a china shop. I value directness, honesty, and I'm very driven, which is great sometimes, but sometimes people's feelings get hurt when they're dealing with me. I'm more like a get her done kind of person. What I value and what she values are kind of opposites, but what really helped me get close with her was understanding her value system and seeing the value in what she values. There's totally a wonderful benefit to having a mother who is so emotionally attuned, kind and thoughtful and gentle, and these are great qualities to have. Qualities that are not necessarily natural to me. So by taking the time to understand her and honor those qualities, I am fostering those qualities in me. Instead of judging her for not having my values, it allows her to be her, it allows me to be me, but still allows a safe space for us to honor each other's great qualities. And having her in my life is a major plus. And I'm very lucky because not everyone can say that about their parents. She really has done her best. Number 2, being grateful for all that she's done. She has done so much for me, and I have so much to be grateful for. And in fact, the reason why we were brought here was because I was gay and I was a flamboyant kid. And some kid at school said he can't hang out with me anymore because I don't have a father. And he said, I quote in English Korean translation, that he said, "You're weird because you don't have a father and that is why you act like that." To which I responded, "Like what?" So I ran home crying, and my mother, the lioness that she is, got up, confronted the family, came home and said, "We're not going to be treated this way. We're moving to the United States where I'm not going to be discriminated against for being a single mother." Which was a hopeful point of view. That's very optimistic. But it is a lot better here than in Korea. That is without a doubt. At least back in 1994. When I came out to her 15 years ago, it was really hard for her, and it was really hard for her to confront her values. And it came right in contrast with her beliefs on Christianity. Back in 2008, when Gavin Newsom passed the gay marriage thing, she called me and begged me never to get married. And I said, I can't promise that. To which she replied, "How could you choose being gay over your mother? To which I replied, because no man is giving me the ultimatum to dump you. Which I could have said that nicer. But anyway, over the years, she really has worked hard to come to a better understanding of me. She eventually switched churches to one that is more accepting of LGBT people. And she really was there for me when Michael passed away 3 years ago, who is the guy that I was in love with. I was with him for 5 years. He died from cancer. So I'm very lucky to have her. And, just a few months ago, she actually said something to me like, you know what? I am happy that you seem to be happy and doing what you want to do, and that matters to me more than anything. And I think that's really beautiful. Number one thing that helped my relationship with my mother was deciding that I want to have a good relationship with her. As with everyone, it's a mixed bag. There are reasons to love her and there are reasons to be resentful toward her. And of course, her loving acts far outweigh things to be resentful for. But if without my focus and my decision to have a good relationship with her, my focus could be all over the place, and we're all inclined toward negativity. Honestly, that's kind of how we're programmed. So we really have to decide to focus on the positive in order to have positive thoughts. No mother is perfect. If you look at your mom, you could find good and bad qualities. And depending on your decision of focus, you can choose to foster a warm, understanding, and compassionate relationship with your mom, or you can choose to foster a contentious, resentful relationship. I'm not saying that you're not within your rights to feel however you feel about your mom. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you want, you could choose to foster a better relationship with her because you want to focus in that direction, unless you're not interested because there's been too much damage. That's a personal decision. But if you're interested in having a relationship with her, it's something to consider. I personally have made a decision that my relationship with my mom is important to me and that I want one. So I decided to do my part by fostering a good relationship with her by being grateful for what she has done, being compassionate for her experiences, honoring her values, and showing grace for things that she was not perfect for. But also, as it relates to the relationship, I'm gonna do the same thing for me. I'm grateful for what I have done right as it relates to the relationship with my mother. I'm compassionate for my experience. I will honor my values and show grace in ways that I was not perfect. Because a relationship is a two-person game, and both of us are in this mother-son relationship. We are a nucleus in this relationship, and we both deserve to be loved, honored, and valued. And that will definitely foster a great relationship between the two of us when we both show up doing that. So I'm gonna do my part. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this week's post. I love you, Mom, if you see this, and I hope you have a great Mother's Day, everybody. Have a good one.